Hello, my name is Kinga Maroszek and I'm an English teacher, so welcome to another class. Today we will pay attention to stative verbs, and I use the materials from this website, which is very useful, and I do recommend to use it in your free time. It's very good, so you can have a look at it in your free time. So some verbs are only or mostly used in simple tenses and are not used in continuous tenses. An example of a simple tense is the present simple or the past simple. An example of a continuous tense is the present continuous or past continuous. These verbs are called stative or state verbs. A verb which isn't stative is called a dynamic verb and is usually an action. Often stative verbs are about liking or disliking something or about a mental state, not about an action. So it's quite important that we have a list of stative verbs which can't be used with the ing form, let's say. So I think it will be better for us to focus only on the correct form. So don't pay attention to the not correct form, just not to be mistaken later on. And if you don't know any of the meanings of these verbs, then your homework or your another task is to check the meaning of them before doing the exercise. Okay, so let's have a look at the list of the stative verbs. So the first one is the verb agree, and the correct sentence is she didn't agree with us. The next one is appear, and the example, it appears to be raining. The next one is believe, I don't believe the news. The next one, belong, this book belonged to my grandfather. Concern, this concerns you. Consist, bread consists of flour, water and yeast. The next one is contain, this box contains a cake. The next one, depend, it depends on the weather. The next one, deserve, he deserves to pass the exam. The next one is disagree, I disagree with you. Dislike, I have disliked mushrooms for years. Doubt, I doubt what you are saying. Feel, which means to have an opinion. I don't feel that this is a good idea. Fit, this shirt fits me well. Hate, Julie's always hated dogs. Hear, do you hear music? The next one is imagine. I imagine you must be tired. Impress, he impressed me with his story. Include, this cookbook includes a recipe for bread. Involve, the job involves a lot of traveling. Know, I've known Julie for 10 years. Like, I like reading detective stories. Love, I love chocolate. Matter, it doesn't matter. Mean, enormous means very big. Measure, which means belong. This window measures 150 centimeters. Mind, she doesn't mind the noise. Need, at 3 o'clock yesterday I needed a taxi. Owe, I owe you 20 pounds. Own, she owns 2 cars. Prefer, I prefer chocolate ice cream. Promise, I promise to help you tomorrow. Realize, I didn't realize the problem. Recognize, I didn't recognize my old friend. Remember, he didn't remember my name. Seem, the weather seems to be improving. Sound, your idea sounds great. Suppose, I suppose John will be late. And some more. Surprise, the noise surprised me. Understand, I don't understand this question. Want, I want to go to the cinema tonight. Weight, which means have weight. This cake weighs 450 grams. And wish, I wish I had studied more. And now we have some verbs that can be both stative and dynamic. So let's have a look how it works with them. Be. Be is usually a stative verb, but when it is used in the continuous, it means behaving or acting. For example, you are stupid means it's a part of your personality. It's something normal for you, let's say. And you are being stupid means only now, not usually. So that is like the different situation that someone is being stupid now, and normally that person is quite clever. The next one is have. Have as a stative verb means to own something. For example, I have a car, but have as a dynamic is a part of an expression. We have some expressions with have as a dynamic verb. For example, I'm having a party, a picnic, a bath, a good time, a break, a shower, for example. So only with some phrases we can use have as a dynamic verb, but we don't have much of these expressions. The next verb is see. See as a stative verb means to see with your eyes or to understand something. For example, I see what you mean, or I see her now, she's just coming along the road. So it is how we normally use the verb see as a stative verb, but we can also use it as a dynamic verb, which means to meet or have a relationship with. For example, I've been seeing my boyfriend for 3 years, and I'm seeing Robert tomorrow. Yeah, so the difference is quite visible here. The next one is taste, but also smell, feel, and look. So taste as a stative verb means has a certain taste. For example, this soup tastes great. But taste as a dynamic verb means the action of tasting. For example, the chef is tasting the soup. And we have the same story with smell. When we use smell as a stative verb, it has a certain smell. We can say, this perfume smells great. Yeah. But when we use smell as a dynamic verb, then we have the action of smelling something. For example, the girl is smelling flowers in the garden. The same with feel. When we use feel as a stative verb, then we mean that somebody feels in a way like that. And the same with a dynamic verb. Feel and look are quite tricky here because we can use them in both forms as a stative or dynamic verbs, and their meaning is the same. So I can say I feel good or I'm feeling good, and it can mean that I feel good right now, even though I use present simple, not present continuous. Yes, so you can use both tenses here. I feel good now and I'm feeling good now. And the same with look, to talk about somebody's appearance. For example, you're looking great today, or you look great. So both are correct and fine. And the last example is the verb think, which is used as a stative verb to talk about somebody's opinion. Yes, to have an opinion. For example, I think that coffee is great. And think as a dynamic verb means to consider, to have something in someone's head. Yes, to consider doing something. For example, what are you thinking about? I'm thinking about my next holiday. Yeah, or for example, I'm thinking about selling my car. Yeah, so here we have to consider something. So that's the difference between think as a stative verb to have an opinion and think as a dynamic to consider something. Okay, so now let's have a look at the exercise, which is mostly connected to these stative verbs, which can also be dynamic. So let's see what are the questions here. Choose the present simple or present continuous. This exercise includes the verbs see, think, have, be, and taste, which are sometimes stative. Yes, so these one which are the most problematic, because with the rest of the verbs which we had here, the whole list, we can only use in a stative form. Yeah, so there is no other way to use them, so you should remember them, and the rest, which is here in the other table, is to be used in both forms. So let's go. The first sentence is, my husband, the food while I'm cooking. It's very annoying. And we have a situation which is very annoying, and probably you remember from my first class about present tenses, that when we have a situation which is very annoying for us, we can use present continuous with always, yeah? So we can say my husband is always tasting the food while I'm cooking. It's very annoying. And let's check. Yeah, it's correct. The next one, she, a bath every evening. We have a situation that happens every evening, so we just use present simple, but we can also use this phrase to have a bath, meaning right now. We could also use she is having a bath right now, yes, and it would be totally correct, because as you remember from the table which we were talking about, we can use have as a dynamic verb with some of the expressions. And let's check it. Okay. Luke, the doctor now. So Luke had some kind of an appointment with a doctor. So now he is seeing the doctor now, right? Okay, the next one, he, a party next weekend. We have a situation that something is planned. We are 100% sure that it will happen. So he is having a party next weekend. Okay, the next one, this coffee, right. So in general, we want to say that there is something wrong with the coffee, so it doesn't taste. Yes, because when we use taste with the ing, then we mean the action of tasting the food, right? Okay, the next one. We, John and Susie next month. Again, we have a planned action. We are 100% sure it will happen, so we are seeing John and Susie next month. The next one is about the war. And here we want to know in general the opinion of somebody about the war. So what do you think about the war, right? The next one, she, a headache. And when we have some illnesses or some symptoms or being sick, we use just present simple, right? She has a headache. Okay, let's check. The next one is we have the verb to be, which we can use in a stative form just to refer to a normal situation. Let's say it is called today, because we can't use it is being called today referring to the weather. We can use it referring to people. For example, she is being very nice to me at the moment. I wonder why, because normally she isn't, right? So here it is called today. The next one, they, a car. In general, they don't possess, they don't own a car, so they don't have a car. Okay, the next one is I, anything. I can't work the telescope, so in general we want to say that we don't see anything, so I don't see anything, right? Okay, the waiter, the wine now. Yeah, before giving the wine to customers, the waiter is tasting it right now. Yes, the waiter is tasting the wine now. The next one, she, a doctor. In general, she isn't a doctor, right? Not like at the moment, we want to say that she isn't being a doctor, because normally she also isn't a doctor. Now we have a question, and we have another verb, want, which, as you remember, is a stative verb, so we can't use it with ing. There is no such a question, are you wanting a sandwich? Just, do you want? Do you want? Okay. The next one is fun today. And now we mean that we have a very nice party. For example, we are now at the party, so we can say I am having fun today. Yeah, girls just wanna have fun, as it was in one of the songs, and here I am having fun today. The next one is I'm too much about my ex-boyfriend. And here we want to say that probably it happens from time to time, yes? So I think too much about my ex-boyfriend, meaning like normally thinking, not not considering it, but here we want to say that is like probably annoying to that girl. That's why we can say I am thinking, right? Normally it would be I think about my ex-boyfriend, but we have this too much, so be careful. Like reading comprehension is important here, yes. I am thinking too much about my ex-boyfriend because it's a situation that shouldn't have happened, yes, thinking about your ex-boyfriend, so I am thinking, right? They often a film on Fridays. Here we have a situation that happens every Friday, right? Or often on Fridays. So they often see a film on Fridays. The next one is, here we want to talk about the taste of the cake. So in general, this cake tastes funny. Yeah, because when we use is tasting, then we have the action of tasting the cake. Okay, now we have a question. A good time at the moment. So now we are asking about the particular moment, and we can use the verb have here as a dynamic one. So we can ask a question, are you having a good time at the moment? And the last example is, the chef always the food before he serves it. And here we have the action of tasting the food, right? And the chef always does it. So here we should use is tasting, right? Because when we use the verb here, of course, we should use tastes, as we have the action that is done just to try the food, yes, but it happens every time before serving the food. So here we have like the how to call it, the other action which is also done, because as you remember, here we had this cake tastes funny, but here we have the situation that the chef does it every time. So normally we use taste to talk about tasting the food with ing, but here the situation happens always, so we should use the verb as a stative one. So as you can see, you have to be careful in some places, and I wasn't careful enough, but it's normal to make some mistakes, and then you remember better the example in which you made some mistakes. So that's it for today. Tomorrow we'll have another lesson, so practice your English with me, and see you next time. Bye bye.